So with yesterday's small patch, Premiere is just off right now and you cannot queue it, which marks the end of Season 4 and the beginning of Season 5, probably tomorrow. But it's good that they give us a little bit of a break. It gives you some time to learn some smokes. It gives you some time to speculate. So let's get caught up to speed and see what Valve has in store for us and what they don't have in store for us come tomorrow. Good news, we got unbanned on Twitch. Got a little carried away with jackass stickers, I guess. So I took a few days off of both platforms to work on the website CS2 Liquid 2.0. It looks pretty damn good right now currently, but I don't know how long it'll take to get it out officially. But let's first address the elephant in the room, the Armory, right? We've had last chance for about 3 months at this point, and there still is no official confirmation on whether we do or do not get anything related to the Armory tomorrow, but it's what most people are expecting. So let's just go over it very briefly. And I think it might be interesting to talk about what weapons we do get in the Armory in terms of the higher rarity ones of the two speculated collections to come in, Arabesque and Spy and Tech. And for that, I think we can look at the past. So let's look at the reds and pinks from the older collections. From graphic design, we had the AUG Lil Pig, the Deagle Starcade, and the AWP CMYK as the covert. For Train 2025, we had the M4 Hellish, the MP9 Latte Rush, and the AWP Long Dog as the covert. For Overpass, we had, and we still do have, the AWP Krakow, the Zeus Dragon Snore, and the AKB the Monster as our covert. And for Sport and Field, of course, the Galil Rainbow Spoon, the Glock 18 Axia, and the M4A1S Fade for the covert. So for the Arabesque collection, I think it leans itself towards a AWP being the covert there, and for the Spy and Tech, I'd probably give one to the M4A4. The M4A4 is just a matter of we haven't gotten an M4A4 covert yet. We've gotten the A1S, we've gotten the AK, we've gotten the AWP. The only main weapon left is the M4A4, so I imagine we'll probably get one of those. Especially with the M4 receiving a buff in terms of the ammo update a few months back, I'm pretty sure we'll get an M4A4 covert or at least a couple of pinks in there for it. For the Arabesque collection, I imagine we'll get like an Arabesque style AWP. I think the aesthetic just leans itself towards a AWP being the covert there. AWPs typically carry the most royal, covert looking weapons of the entire game, right? You have the Prince, the Dragon Lord, the Gungnir. All of these weapons look really, really good and really, really high tier, and it lends itself towards the Arabesque collection and it being the covert selection there. Just playing around, seeing if we get it right or not. The pinks are a little bit more interesting because they are typically highly used weapons, but they're not like the main weapons, right? The Deagle, the AUG, shit like that. We've gotten the Galil already, so I imagine maybe a FAMAS would be pretty cool. The AUG with the graphic design collection is a little bit of an easier play than like the Krieg, for example, because the Krieg just kind of fucking sucks. At least the AUG is usable on the CT side. We haven't gotten a Scout. Maybe a pink Scout would be pretty cool. And we have only gotten a covert AK, so maybe a pink AK wouldn't be out of the question either. A 5.7 as well if they don't destroy it in the buffs and nerfs, which we'll talk about in a moment. The channel is reunioning, I don't know what the fucking word is there, with UU Skins with their new rental feature. All you have to do is pick the inventory that you want. I have one of my own on there, a custom loadout. UU Skins will give you a blank Steam account for you to use with those skins. All you have to do is create a Faceit account, link your Faceit account, and then play with it on that Steam account. This one is against zero policies on Steam and Faceit, so you are free to use this one completely 100% safely. If you are interested, scan the QR code here or click the link in my link tree, which will be in the pinned comment below. Continuing on with the Armory, I think we have a very good or at least optimistic chance at having a new case when the Armory comes out. Right, this was the main theory for the longest time anyway, right? Terminals were replacing the cases in the active drop pool and cases were going to live on their own within the Armory, but I think that Jackass capsule that got released a few days back does really confirm the fact that they are just separating the active drop pools from the Armory and the store when it comes to how people are receiving and opening these chance-based items. I think this is good for two reasons, right? As I spoke about in a previous video, a knife terminal will be harder to make profitable for Valve and for everyone involved because a lot of the knife finishes are 0 to 0.08, which doesn't lend itself quite easily to the terminal. I think the case is the better format for knives specifically. So the fact that we have some hope there with that Jackass capsule that got released does give us a little bit more optimism regarding a new case. Now, I know a lot of people want like the Gamma Doppler on Talon knives and shit. I do hope we get some new knife finishes. We haven't gotten them in like, I think it's been 10 years since we've gotten new knife finishes. I hope we get those instead. But any real new knife finishes would be nice. And the last part about the Armory is the limited edition slot, right? The AK Aphrodite got released with the beginning of Season 4, so I guess there is a chance we can get something with the release of Season 5. They typically have waited quite a bit of time in between limited edition items, but the way in which it lines up right now, I guess we can't simply ignore the fact that there could be a new limited edition item. Also, with Season 4, we got the Harlequin and Achroma collections, bringing our active drop pool to 5 collections. Now, typically, the active drop pool has had 7 collections or more for the vast majority of its lifespan, so I think there's a good chance we get 2 new active drop pool collections to create 7 in the pool and make it so, you know, these ones don't get oversupplied too quickly. We've gotten the purple limited edition items, we've gotten the pinks, we've gotten the reds now. I think a blue might be the most probable limited edition item we get, especially if they're doing a quick turnaround from the Aphrodite to this one, right? People aren't going to have the stars to spend on another expensive high ticket item. So I think 5 stars would be a pretty good deal for a blue skin. I don't think the actual skin will be that much different, right? It'll probably be another Solitude, Aphrodite, heat-treated-esque weapon, right? Where you're not necessarily banking on the skin itself. You just have to get a good pattern in order for it to be profitable. I guess a knife limited edition item isn't typically out of the question, but it would be pretty expensive, right? Considering how Valve prices things and how rare things are, a covert or a knife would be 2.5 times between each other. So the Aphrodite was 125 stars. So a knife would be, what, 250 plus 60-ish, 300 stars-ish? So I don't know if that's really feasible. I think it'd be better served in a case. So odds are I think that the next ones are going to be a mil-spec or a blue limited edition offering. And that's for the Armory right now. Obviously, there are other things that could get added and that we've spoke about in the past. The pets and shit like that. But we've spoken about them. There hasn't been anything else that's come out about them, so I'll just leave it there. Let's talk about actual Season 5. Cache is in. If you haven't played Cache in CSGO, it's probably my favorite map of all time. It's probably my most played map of all time. It's very easy to learn, but if you've never played it before, let's do a few smokes. So let's take a walk over to the gamer chair and get those smokes down. All right, boys. First order of business is the connector smoke on T side. So you're gonna spawn somewhere in one of these spaces, right? You're gonna line up with the third white line right here. Aim at this backwards end and jump throw as soon as you hit the end of that line. So you got connector smoked, right? You're gonna go over to this left side of this doorway right here. Just stand against it, and you're just gonna aim at this like white little nipple thing coming off, and you're just gonna throw that. Left click. But if you combo it and just go to the other side of the door, line up with this left nipple, throw that shit, what will happen is you'll have a very nice cross here, right? So you can kill this guy if there's some guy standing there. You get up to vent, right, which will have to keep the B guys honest. They'll have to stay at B. And then you can get a good angle on headshot and connector here. That's really all you need to know from mid, though. Our next smoke is going to be right here, the cross between a main to a site. Don't got to actually like go too crazy here. Just throw against that green wall, run throw, and you'll pretty much get it smoked perfectly every time. Right, so to smoke it from Squeaky, you're going to need to have the door open this way. So you just line up over here, basically. Doesn't really matter, again, this one's pretty loose, and you just throw it against the green wall. Like, you don't have to be perfect. It'll pretty much smoke it the same way every time. But you do want to just aim. All right, maybe it's not too loose. Throw here. Throw. If you go over here and you want to like do an execute, you stand right here, aim at this corner, and just throw. That is. Now, if you're on the A side and you want to throw a fake smoke, you can go over here. Just line up with the right side of, you know, A main right here. You're gonna aim right like by this Y and this E and just kind of go in the middle of it ish. It's very going to do is smoke B main. So maybe you'll draw a rotate over from the truck guy or maybe one of the mid guys, and then you come over here, you know, you get ready, you fucking throw a stroke, flash out, you get your ass to sight. While you're standing here throwing that execute, you can take this corner, right? This corner you're just throwing normally, right? And that's gonna smoke off the cross. And then you're gonna take this cross right here, line it up with the railing here. Whoop. You can just meet them in the middle there. And then you're throwing that, no jump throw again. And that's going to smoke off the other side. Truck guy, you can't nade this smoke anymore. That's pretty much all you need to know for A site.
Now, A site is the easier one because you don't even really need to know lineups, right? You can just kind of throw that shit at that green box and they'll pretty much find their way there. Molly quad and you're good to go. But B site definitely requires a little bit more lineups knowledge. So there's this little like blue draw right here. You're gonna stand right next to it. There's a little light here. Just aim above it. Just aim at the middle, aim above it. And then you're gonna run throw. As you hit that light right there, you're gonna release. Boom, this will smoke off the B main entrance, right? So you can sneak past and fight the squeaky guy if he's standing there watching vent. And you can get to headshot, fight this guy here. A guy could push out the smoke, fight him there. Next one up is gonna be heaven. Just go to this door right here. See this little triangle? Throw it. Heaven smoked. Same thing. B main's a little bit easier. Just aim to the left edge of this pipe. And then just run throw. Bounce it off the pipe. And it'll just land in B main. You kind of want it to go in there like that, such that they can't lurk out to headshot. This one will smoke off the sight cross. Go to this corner back here in sunroom. Find this leftmost window right here and aim at the bottom. Just toss that shit. Boom. This is a molly for headshot. You're gonna get into this corner. Just gonna aim right here. You kind of want your crosshair in between this panel right here, and you're gonna put your crosshair exactly on this black bar, and you should jump throw that shit. Good flash to throw back here is to just line up like basically above this green wall a little bit. Just jump throw. There's a way to get it behind this pipe so that no one of your teammates gets flashed. But if you're like just rushing, this is a good flash to have. For CTs on B site, kind of do it the opposite way. Bounce it here. You don't want to smoke this doorway because then they can cross the squeaky. You want to see this cross. This is a good way to do it. You could throw it a little bit deeper as well, but that should suffice. A good mid nade set is coming up here through connector. Just run throw here. You know, really, again, doesn't have to be perfect. Line up here, aim here, and jump throw. And that's gonna molly. Want to smoke off A main. Again, it's kind of like the CSGO lineup. You just throw it from truck right here. Top of this building. And it'll smoke off the A main perfectly. That's pretty much all you need, right? Cash is a pretty simple map to fucking maneuver.
Now that you're ready to go for cash, let's give a moment of silence to Overpass. Valve has now taken out my highest win rate map 3 seasons in a row. So thanks a lot, guys. Can't wait for cash to get removed next season. The last part, a very interesting part, probably the most important part when it comes to seasons, the most guaranteed thing we'll be getting is a buff and a nerf to at least something regarding the game, economy-wise, weapon-wise, whatever it may be. With every season we've gotten so far, we have gotten weapon tuning. With Season 2, the M4 was decreased in price from 31 to 2,900. With Season 3, we got a incendiary buff, I believe it was. We got an MP9 nerf, and we got a change to the CT economy based on how many kills you get. Season 4 was all about the SMGs. We got the MP9 nerfed once again. The MP7 was buffed, and the MP5 was buffed. Although not to the extent the MP7 was. The MP7 still remains the top dog there. So which ones look like they have the biggest targets on their back for Season 5, or the most potential? The MP7 is good, but it's not good enough, I think, to get nerfed. I think that one will stay pretty steady. The gun that I think has the biggest chance to get nerfed is probably the 5.7. Right, the 5.7 had quite a pretty good showing at the major with the Falcons especially, and a lot of games ended up very lopsided CT side because of just the 5.7 and the relative power you had on any single eco round and any single round in general. We saw Kerrigan using the AUG, but I think that's because he sucked more than anything else. I don't think it's actually indicative of the AUG becoming meta, but as I say, it always does have a better chance than like the Krig of getting buffed and being put into that meta because it's already very closely there. It just needs like one single little weapon tuning or one single price decrease, and it would probably make a pretty big dent in the overall CT side. The two sleepers, I think, are probably the Bison and the MP5, right? The MP5 got buffed last time, and it just never really made the mark that the MP7 did, so they really only have to do one smaller change again, either a nerf to the MP7 or a slight small buff to the MP5 that will put it over the top and make it the #1 go-to SMG. The Bison also got a price decrease last season, so again, Just one little small change to make it viable at its price point will make it more competitively viable. Does anyone remember the ump meta? The ump meta was sick. I miss the ump meta, and the ump has pretty cool skins, so I hope one day it makes a return. And the basis of our argument here is that you don't really need to buy specific weapons here. Just buy a play skin for each of these weapons, right? I'm sure most of you guys have a skin for each gun in the game anyway. Play skins go up in demand when guns get buffed because they become part of the meta, and thus you just have more volume on each gun per day. Take a look at the MP7s. Every MP7 is like 10 times where it was back in December, for example. And that is your Season 5 debrief. We'll be live on Twitch tonight. We'll do some purchasing and stuff like that in the anticipation of the Season 5 update. And we'll also be there tomorrow when Season 5 actually drops to see what we actually get. And you already know there'll be a video on it as soon as it comes out. Now go warm up, because cash isn't going to lose itself. Peace.